Welcome back. Statistics show that over 50%, that's shocking, of people admit to cheating on their spouse either emotionally or physically.
With those numbers, it certainly makes you wonder why so many people cheat, knowing the repercussions can severely damage their relationships.
Joining us today to help us answer that question, life coach and author of Inside the Cheater's Mind, Dr. Denise Wood. Thanks so much for being here. I know that you talk about in your book about 15 different types of cheaters. Yeah. We want to focus on the three of them today. Which three specifically?
Okay. Well, I want to say thank you for having me, number one. And yes, I have 15 types of cheaters because not everybody cheats the same. I mean, there's different reasons why people cheat. And so that's why we want to get to the bottom of that. But what cheater would you like to start with? I have a narcissistic cheater, an emotional cheater.
Let's start with the narcissistic.
An addictive cheater. Narcissistic?
Yes.
Okay. The narcissistic cheater obviously is very grandiose, very into themselves. They see themselves at the top of their game. They want somebody to be, they want power and beauty. They want to be surrounded by greatness. And they seem omnipotent to a point where they think that they should have the best of everything, the best doctors, the best this, the best that, almost too grandiose. And
so they go searching for that no matter what relationship they're in.
Exactly. They always think there's something better out there. And actually their grandiosity is, just a cover because they're feeling bad about themselves. And so it's a cover for that.
But here's my question. Why would cheating give you more power? Because I agree with you. I think that someone that's a narcissist, it's all about power. I mean, you see it in politicians all the time. But how does me going out and cheat give me more power?
Right? Isn't that
good question?
A great question. I love that question. Sex is power in a lot of people's eyes. And that's my answer for that.
How about the emotional cheater? Let's go through some of the characteristics of an emotional cheater. How do they treat their loved ones?
The emotional cheater is interesting because the emotional cheater, they don't necessarily go looking to have an emotional affair, but maybe they come home, their significant other isn't paying attention to them. Maybe they're reading a book every night. Maybe they're not listening when they're talking. Maybe they're just like, You know, we've all been there or gone through our times and we've all been there. But so the emotional cheater, actually, they really don't even get that they're doing it until they start having these relationships with people that are becoming too intimate. So that takes away from their family relationships and their family time and their intimate family time or time with their significant other because they're sharing these things with their significant other.
Okay. And I think that boundary becomes kind of gray or somewhat nebulous. So when you say, hey, they've overstepped their bounds emotionally or developing this relationship, how would you define that?
Exactly, the boundaries, and that's what I really think couples have to communicate because they have to decide what the boundaries are. What are the boundaries? Can you go out to eat with that person from work who may have a crush on you? Can you go out to eat with them every day for lunch? Is that a boundary issue? Is it not? So you as a couple would have to sit down and talk about that and communicate about that.
Okay, when we come back, we'll talk more about what we can do, what people can do to recognize the signs, and how you can sort of rein yourself in if you're a cheater. All right, we'll be right back after this.
Welcome back. We're talking about Inside the Cheater's Mind. Dr. Denise Wood joins us. Thanks so much for sticking around. So we've talked about a couple of these different types of cheaters now, the emotional, the narcissistic. What do you do if you notice that in maybe your partner? How do you begin to maybe stop some of those behaviors?
Well, first of all, you want to communicate and address it and talk to your partner about what they can do to avoid certain things. Maybe there's certain triggers that are prompting the affair. Say triggers like, are they going to a bar after work together and having a cocktail? Are they spending too much time together outside of the relationship? So you have to look at all these different types of things and think, okay, now you have to change maybe maybe you can't go out to dinner with this person. Maybe you can't go out to the business meeting with this person.
Is there
whatever.
any value in creating an ultimatum? I mean, look what happened with Anthony Weiner when he was like, I'm not doing this anymore. And then, a couple months later it came out that he was doing it again.
Right.
So do you create an ultimatum and go, hey, you know what? This is the last straw. If it happens again, I'm out.
And that's up to the couple. But I mean, personally, I would, but that would be, that's up to the couple, and they have to decide what they want to do about that.
Interesting. And what about if do a lot of cheaters recognize that they're doing this, or is it just normal in their mind?
No, a lot of them recognize that they're doing it, and they see that they're doing it, but no cheater wants to hurt anybody except for my revenge cheater. They're not out to hurt anyone, but they're thinking, okay, I can get away with it. I got away with it before, I can get away with it again, or I'll be sneakier this time. Maybe I'll, hide my cell phone, or maybe I'll erase my history on my computer like I didn't last time, something like that.
So as a life coach, I'm sure you've got some success stories of people that were cheating, stop. What have you found to be the most effective way to help solve some of these issues?
The most effective way is actually to go to a trusted therapist. I mean, right away people are saying, oh gosh, I want to leave, I want to get out of this relationship. The first thing they're thinking is, I want to run, they're in shock, they don't want to be there. But I think really they have to sit down and they have to think about it. Like, what can we do? Do we want to salvage it? Do we want to move on? How do we want to go about this? And then from there, they pick the pieces up. Like, can we make it work? How are we going to make it work? What are we going to do day to day? Because it's a day-to-day process, and it's a ton of work. But marriage is a ton of work. Relationships are a ton of work. Look how hard we work at our jobs. Well, look how hard we work with our kids. I mean, those hockey parents out there, I'm one of them. I mean, driving all over to these small towns and taking kids to hockey and things like that. And then your spouse is just kind of sitting in the corner, twiddling their thumbs sometimes.
We need to apply the same energy to our relationship as we do to everything else in our lives.
Exactly. It's just about balance.
And do you look into personal history too? I mean, a lot of people grow up acting this way all their lives and then feel like they can act that way also with a spouse. Do we try to change past patterns, change ourselves?
Absolutely. I have situational cheaters and personality cheaters. Personality cheaters are harder to help. They take a longer time because it's more ingrained in their personality. Like my narcissistic cheater, definitely a personality cheater. And that person would probably have to go to psychoanalysis and work for years and build up from when they were a child. They were probably the kid on the playground who, like threw the dodgeball in the kid's face and then walked away thinking, oh, what a wimp type of thing,
Yeah.
So they have to relearn empathy and really understand what it means to be empathetic. And that helps, of course, with them not cheating because they understand how other people are feeling.
Where can we find your book?
You can find it on Amazon. You can find it on my website, www.drdenisewood.com.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you so much for giving us insight into the cheater's mind. Very interesting.
Yes. Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed it.
Okay, we'll be back with more on North Dakota Today.